Hello there, it's me again, Ramesh, and I'm trying to make it a habit to share as much as I can. Don't worry too much about the cat that's on the right over there. I'm just playing with OBS, which is the streaming software that I'm currently using. OBS stands for Open Broadcast Software, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. Yeah, to get this little cat over there, I just had to using OBS is quite easy. You can actually overlay items on your screen, and the first thing that I did was I found a video of a cat that has a green screen background, and given that it has the green screen, okay, it's possible to in OBS to remove that green screen, and you have this effect. I could have a separate clip to explain, the various nice things that we can do with green screens in OpenSim. I think I'll keep that for another time, another episode. I also wanted to share, this new avatar with you. I got it from Steam, which is on OS Grid, if I remember correctly, and I think it was imported into OpenSim by Vibinia Radek, and it was rigged. I'm not very sure about. I actually didn't read the README properly, but I wanted to experiment with the avatar, and this one is it's pretty well rigged, and I didn't see any problems with it. I really wanted to get my hands on a rigged meshed avatar that appears to work well. So I picked this one, okay, just for educational purposes. And it looks pretty, I think. It looks pretty nice. Yeah, so in this episode I'm planning to describe how I used the Resmla system that I described elsewhere to think about how to deploy solar panels on a residence. So the first thing I'll do, I load a scene here that would allow me to describe this situation in further details. Okay. So this is a scene that I created before, and I have saved it. It's saved as a file, and I'm just loading it. So it's actually loading the Google Map object that displays the map of the place where the house is, and I created this small model. Okay, in Resmla you don't only have the opportunity to select objects which are like mesh objects, like buildings or people and trees, fairly complex mesh objects. You can also use shapes, and these shapes are used mainly for architectural applications where you have to create massing primitives quickly and add to your real-world setting. And the function of massing primitives is that one of them, at least, is it gives you a sense of how much space your constructs are going to take, and you can experiment with lighting and line of sight and things like that. So you don't really need detailed objects to end up with models that are useful. For discussing architectural aspects. Yeah, so why solar panels? Basically, I'm interested in clean energy, and I also know that the government, at least in the US here, I know in many other countries they do too, they offer a lot of incentives to adopt, solar power, and I'm working with a solar city at the moment and trying to have them to get them to install the solar panels for free. And there are two ways of actually doing this. One is you actually buy the whole system and have it installed, and you have to get a grant from government, and there are other incentives like taxes, will be less and all that. I didn't want to dabble into those aspects because I don't like doing paperwork too much, and I went for the other option where you actually get to rent the system. So the one thing that I found useful with this setup is that I could see immediately what would be the impact of the vegetation around this residence on the solar panels. So you try to consider a number of factors when you install the solar panels, when you design the layout. One is that you have to look at aesthetics. Here what we are doing is we are trying to put the solar panels on the back of the house, because that will actually help keeping the house's look as is, and in so doing you can shield yourself for any kind of reduction in the value of your property on the market, in case it turns out that people don't like the look of solar panels, like a thing on your roof. Okay, for some people it doesn't look like that nice. That's why you have a new product now that Elon Musk talked about, where they will have solar roofs instead of solar panels that are installed on the roof. Okay, so that's a new product coming out. But right now it's basically just solar panels that you have to install on your roof. The other thing is I tried to play with the position of the sun, and I just bring up photo tools here, and you can play with the position of the sun and see where the shadows are cast. And right now this residence is located ideally in the sense that it's along the east-west line, and as the sun moves, it's always going to get some sun. Okay, of course, when the season changes, the elevation of the sun is going to change as well, and you will have to check how that is going to impact the amount of sunlight that or the UV light that's going to reach your solar panels. And you can start thinking about trimming tall trees, etc., so that you can still have optimal sunshine accessing or reaching your solar panels. So that's basically what I wanted to share today regarding OpenSame and possible applications. And how I created this is as follows. I can just give you a short demo. Let me just clear the screen. And then I'll just add a map object. So let's go on infrastructure, find this map object here that I'm adding on top. I won't enter the address of that residence for obvious reason, and I'm just going to use, the default map that comes up to demonstrate a few things. So normally what you would do is you would click on the search button and add the address here, and then you click submit, and what would happen is that you will have a map of that location appear on your board here on the ResMiller board, and that same map is shown on the large scale environment. And what you would do is the next thing is you would maybe go into satellite mode and identify the location of the building that you are interested in. So that's what we are waiting for. We are waiting for the textures from the satellite mode to display. Hope it comes up soon. I see it has displayed already to some extent in the larger scale world, but you get the idea. Once you have the pictures, it's much easier to get a sense of where the buildings are, and the resolution of those pictures keep on increasing all the time. And then for the house, what I did was I looked for a shape. Like I started with a cube. Let's pick a building here just to give an idea. I'm going to pick this big one simply because it's easy. It's easier to work with. And what I'll do is I'm going to scale it up. That, by the way, is an example how you can actually interact with the prims on a smaller scale on the board, and they will have an impact on the larger scale, on the corresponding larger scale objects in that world. You can see in the distance, I don't know if you can see that, you can see in the distance the corresponding object that I am raising on the board here. So I'm going to make sure it aligns with the edges. So that's how I'm creating like a massing primitive for this building. And then the next thing I'll do and start going into link mode so that I actually select only this object on top here. It's approximate, but it gives you an idea of the location of the architectural construct where it's found, its relationship with other buildings. And so that's just an example of how I'm actually able to add massing primitives on the board, and any scaled up massing primitive appears over here. And I could actually go back to the street map, see if that works, and then play with sunshine. You can see how the shadows change. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you, and I'll see you next time when I have something interesting again to share. Please don't forget to support the OpenSim developers who usually work in the shadows, but I think that by sharing our work and you know, it certainly shows that all this work is going somewhere, and there's you know, a lot of activities happening, and I'm sure they would be very happy to see that. So share as much as you can all the work that, not all, well, as much as you can, the work that you are doing, because I know it's not, sometimes it's not possible to share everything. And make sure you support the OpenSim developers who normally usually tend to work in the shadows, and show your appreciation. Well, that's it. That's all I have for this time. Take care, and hope I have something interesting soon. Bye for now.